Hi, Bruno here. Welcome to Spainguru.
The first step to obtaining Spanish citizenship for myself and my children when the husband is Spanish. Myself. Now let's see the specific question of this Spainguru community member. My husband is from Spain. We currently reside in California and I would like to move to Seville or Malaga in Spain. We have 3 children. What is the first step to obtaining citizenship for myself and children? How feasible would it be to either find a place to rent for a year or looking to buy? Our savings are limited to 40k, not sure what we could find in Malaga with a small down payment. I lived in Córdoba for 1 year and speak conversational Spanish. Now let's see the answers of Spainguru's community members. Your kids are easy and can be done from the US. You have to be married to a Spanish citizen, as you mentioned, and residing in Spain with legal status for a year. Take the language test and history test, and then you can apply. You can rent a small 3-bedroom townhouse called adosada in Spanish for between 900 and 1300 per month in Malaga. The eastern side, Rincón de la Victoria, Benagalbón, Torre del Mar, Vélez, Malaga, is cheaper than the western side, and with Vélez being 10 minutes inland, prices are even cheaper. That said, buying a place with 3 bedrooms runs between 300k and 500k. You should download the Idealista app and you can get daily updates which will familiarize you with prices for both renting and buying. I don't know if you've seen this or not. It's less than a year old, but super useful if you have kids that are Spanish nationals. The first thing you have to do is register your marriage and kid's birth in your consulate. Depending on where you are in California, it could be LA or San Francisco. Then get the kids' birth certificates or passports. The DNIs could work too, but you can't get that in the consulate. This will give you temporary residence and work permits for 5 years. You don't have to show proof of funds for this option, but you all have to be empadronados at the same address. You must check whether in your región they already use this new option to obtain residency as a family member of a Spanish national option, or still the old method, where you do need to provide proof of funds. If it's arraigo familiar in your area, then you will need an FBI background check with an apostille. Savings of 40k and a mortgage of 2080 split, that would put you in a 200k flat in Malaga City. I think you're priced out depending on the neighborhood you want, just how blue collar you want to go. Also, the flat will be significantly smaller than what you've used to. Torremolinos is a nearby option and probably your best bet, closest to Malaga and has the Cercanías, which is a train. I am actually a realtor that works out in Malaga City. Do not forget that in addition to a down payment on a house, you'll also need to pay 10% transfer tax on it. It's a lot more expensive upfront to buy a property in Spain than in the States. Maybe come for a school year, see if you like it and whatnot. Bureaucracy and taxes here are quite different. It sounds very cool on paper, and it is an awesome experience for the kids and for your family if you can adapt, but I try to rent first, make it a temporary situation and see how that goes. Employment or unemployment could be an issue. Unless you work remotely, then you have to look into taxes. Like I said, lots of variables to consider. Maybe try a temporary move. You can always go back to the States if you need to, but I wouldn't do anything super radical like selling my house in the US and moving here permanently, unless you know you could go back to the US and buy again easily, which not that easy these days and whatnot. In Malaga, as with Seville, are both cities and provinces. So Malaga City right now is insanely expensive, but there are other areas in the province that are not as expensive, but still have a great quality of life. This is probably also true for Seville, but I don't have the experience to be able to comment on that. I live in the Valle del Guadalhorce in Malaga, a comarca of about 7 to 8 towns that have populations of between 2,000 people, the smallest towns, a comarca of 40,000 people, some of the bigger towns. I do have a car and it's probably necessary to have at least one in the family if you live outside of the Malaga city center. but these days I depend on my bike and the Cercanías train. I go into the city every day for work by bike and train, and when I do drive into the city, it's to go to the places like big outdoor malls, IKEA, the beach, not in the city, and to move around my town. I am also from California and have dual citizenship in Spain. I am in the process of getting citizenship for my husband who is from San Diego. I got an immigration lawyer. The first step is going to the Spanish consulate in Los Angeles and register your marriage and birth of children in Spain. Then you need to apply for a residency permit, which requires 13,000 euros in the bank or proof of a job. My lawyer said it's easier to attain if you have 13,000. After getting your residency permit, you can apply for citizenship after living in Spain for 1 year. I currently live in Cádiz, but I am planning to move to Malaga in a few years as well. To have the lawyers submit your paperwork, it costs around 300 euros. I would recommend going through a lawyer because the process is very important. Also, your marriage certificate and birth certificates must be translated by a sworn translator and apostles. It's worth it to move here. Living in California is stressful with the high cost of living. Good luck. I bought an apartment in Madrid in 2021. As others have mentioned, you need a hefty amount of cash to be able to buy a property in Spain. If you qualify for a mortgage, the most they will give you is around 80%. So you need 20% for the down payment, plus between 6 to 10% tax depending on the province and the type of property. That isn't covered by the mortgage or notary costs, plus the transfer fees between the bank and wherever you lose in commissions if you are converting from US dollars to euros. I ended up paying 19k in taxes and notary fees, and I was on the lower end of the tax requirement, so you do really need to budget for that and have at least 30% of the value of the property saved up. Madrid prices are not Malaga prices. Madrid still being slightly more expensive, but they aren't that different. The prices in Malaga have skyrocketed, over 30% in the last year or so, meaning it will be very difficult to get a house or a 3-bedroom apartment for under 300k in central Malaga. That doesn't need at least 50k in renovations. You might want to consider renting while you continue to save while getting to know the market better. Others have noted rent in central Malaga for a 3-bedroom should be expected to be about 1200 euros. How well do you deal with extreme heat? Temperatures during the summer in Andalusia, but especially in Seville, go about 110 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade, which is 43 degrees Celsius. It's a lovely city, but it gets hot, and running the AC 24 hours in a 3-bedroom home is impossible without paying a 400 euro electric bill. You need to be prepared. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. In conclusion, according to Spainguru's Facebook group members, the first step to obtaining citizenship for yourself and your children in Spain is to register your marriage and your children's births at the Spanish consulate in your region. Afterward, you can apply for a residency permit, which may require proof of funds or a job. Renting a place for a year is feasible, with rental prices varying depending on the location. Buying a property in Spain would require a significant amount of cash upfront for the down payment, taxes, notary, fees, and other expenses. It's advisable to consult with an immigration lawyer to navigate the process effectively. Additionally, it is recommended to consider a temporary move and rent first to understand the dynamics of living in Spain before making a permanent decision.
Join Spainguru's community today. You can join our general Spanish immigration group and our dedicated groups for Spanish non-lucrative visa and Spanish digital nomad visa. Our groups together have more than 30,000 members. If you need expert professional advice, we got you covered. Just head to spainguru.es and check out our top menu. You'll find immigration experts, relocation agencies, tax advisors for Spanish and US filings, sworn translators, apostille services, consulate appointment services, and health insurance providers for all types of Spanish visa applications. That includes non-lucrative visa, golden visas, student visas, and digital nomad visas, as well as medical certificates for visa applications and travel health insurance. Finally, I highly recommend you join our weekly newsletter, which we send out every single Monday morning. You'll get tons of information, questions and answers, featured blog posts, and news updates. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.